Hi, welcome to part 3 of my travel solo guide. You can find parts 1 and 2 on my YouTube channel under playlists, then go to travel solo tips and you can watch them there. But let's get on with part 3. In this episode, I'm going to talk about personal safety. And I don't mean when you're in your van and that sort of thing. I mean when you're actually out sightseeing. Very first thing you need to do is know your limitations. Like if you're not very fit and you haven't done a grade 4 walk before, don't try doing one, especially on your own. You need to know what your limitations are. And I don't mean by that don't push yourself out of your comfort zone, because if we don't push ourselves, we don't grow. But don't push yourself to the extent that you're making it unsafe for yourself either. So know your limitations. And then my second suggestion is that you get yourself a personal locator beacon. This is what it looks like. That was the carry case, and that will be your best friend if something ever happens while you're out sightseeing, bushwalking, whatever you're doing. If you get bit by a snake and you're there on your own and you can't get out, if you're have a start of a heart attack, if you break a bone, even if just the weather changes and you're stuck somewhere and it's getting dark and you can't see, you've got no safety equipment with you to get you through the night, then you've got your beacon there. It's not something that you would use unless you really needed to. It's a last resort. I'm going to see if I can open this to show you. Okay, so that's what it looks like when it's open. So you point that red little marker at the top towards the sky. And what happens is it's picked up by satellite, GPS signal, that's sent out to emergency services, and they will come and collect you. It's as simple as that. Like they might not be able to get to you straight away, but they know where you are. So they will try and contact you via mobile phone. They'll contact your next of kin. But yeah, that's how that works. Now, having said that, you do need to register it, and it needs to be registered every 2 years. So it's worthwhile putting that into your calendar once you get one. You register it to start with, so they know it belongs to you. So if that goes off, they know that it's you in trouble. Then every 2 years, you re-register it. You update any details that need to be updated, and Bob's your uncle. So with that, it's got instructions on the back on how to use it. There is a test mode on there, so you do need to test it out to make sure that it's working when you first get it. And hopefully, you'll never need to use it. Now, the battery lasts for 6 to 7 years. And even if you never use it, it is money well spent for that peace of mind. It costs around $300 to $500 depending on the brand. Look, I went the GME simply because GME is Australian made and it's made for Australian conditions. There is no cost to it once you've bought it. Registration is absolutely free, but it is a must that it's registered. If it's unregistered and you get checked, then you could be fined. If you lose it, you need to notify them, because if it's stolen, that's a criminal offence. So it is a very, very important piece of equipment. So I highly recommend that you do spend the money and you get yourself a personal locator beacon. Now, the second thing I have is an app called Emergency 360. Now, I have that app because when I first left, I was a real novice. I did not have a clue. This is all things I've learned since I left. I didn't even know what a PLB was when I left. And I had nobody that I could talk to who had done it to tell me about these things, because it's not something somebody tells you off the top of their head unless they're thinking about it. But anyway, I went out to White Cliffs, and my kids hadn't heard from me for a few days, and I was not on social media, so they had no way of seeing if I was okay or not. My daughter went into panic mode, and so when I left there and got in touch, we decided there and then we were all putting Live 360 on our phones. So that way I know where they are when they're travelling. They know where I am when I'm travelling. And even if I don't have reception and it can't pick up exactly where I am, they know the last place I was when I was online. So it gives them a starting point in which to look for me. They're two things that I really, really think are so important if you're going to travel solo. There's a lot of other things that you could get, but those two I really believe are probably the most important things for when you're out and about, sightseeing, bushwalking, anything like that. So hopefully you'll take that on board, and I'll come up with another tip next time. So until then, happy travels.